and welcome to the Ouchcast. Ouchcast, 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 Ouchcast. Squid Squad. Enrique, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, dude, I'm good. I'm chilling. I mean, literally, it's cold.
So it's officially fall now.
Is it though? Like in the middle of the week, it's like super hot,
Yeah,
right?
that's usually how it is.
I walk around with this like big green military-like jacket, and in the morning it's perfect, right? Because it's all chill and stuff. And then about 10 o'clock, it starts to get really warm.
No,
I feel dumb for wearing it.
Listen to the Southern Californians complain about the weather.
Exactly.
Dude, like where Doyle is at is probably like -2 or some shit. And then here it's like, it's a chill 60.
Yeah, people just be rolling their eyes at us. I mean, I know like up north, like up in like, San Francisco, they can complain about cold.
It gets cold out there.
Well, what's interesting about San Francisco is that Cecilia used to tell me this thing about microclimates and the idea that there's little pockets of area that have like a really difference in degree of weather. So, for example, San Francisco could be like 60 degrees, where like literally 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away, like in the little inland area, the South Bay areas is like 20 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
So last like I don't know, 3-4 years, whenever it was that I was out there, it was during the heat wave. It was like 100 degree. I remember me and Hobby and Sammy were like in this little apartment we rented, like an Airbnb, and it was like, dude, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, F it, let's get in the car, let's get out of here. So we drove into San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge. Dude, it was freezing. I was not dressed for it.
Oh yeah.
I was not dressed for it. It was like so cold. Like I went from like sweating being hot to being super cold.
Yeah, I used to visit my older brother a lot up there when he was up there, and he lived in I don't remember, but it was like, when I was a kid. It wasn't. He was in Pacifica, and then I think San Francisco, and then Napa. Finally, towards the end. Okay. So I remember in Pacifica, it was so windy and cold because it was out of the Bay Area, like outside the Bay Area. You could go up on the hill and you could see. So it was gorgeous, man. I fell in love with Pacifica, and then Napa, it was hot. And then the other weird thing about Napa is that I remember I went for a summer break, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and the sun was still out. And I was tripping out over that. That was trippy to me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I've been to Pacifica. I went there actually during one of those trips, and man, it is nice. It's like nice. The little coastal town.
Yeah, it's very nice. It has this Goonies type feeling to the downtown.
Exactly. That's exactly the image I had in my head, because you have the hills with all these houses, like they line up the hills, and all of it like streets that just go directly down towards the beach area. Yeah. You can just imagine like being a kid there.
Yeah,
all the adventure.
I had a blast. My brother gave me cash and then told me, "Hey, I gotta go to work. Have fun." And I would go downtown, and I was like, "This is cool." And he lived in the hill, and then I remember his backyard. It was like into the hill, and you would go up, and there was a fence in the back, a wooden fence with a gate, and you would open it up, and it was this open area. And it was basically just like I guess like a national park or something, and it was the top of the hill, and that's where you could see San Francisco and everything else from up there. So
as a kid, gorgeous. As a kid, you were gooning it up.
I was gooning it up there. Yeah.
Would you say that you were good enough?
No.
Good enough.
No.
For me?
I would just go in San Francisco and go, "Hey, you guys!"
Sloth, love, chunk,
chocolate, babe, Ruth.
That's so bad, dude. I love Chunk though, dude. Chunk and Sloth were the best duo ever, man. The BFFs for life.
Okay, do the truffle shuffle.
Yeah, I'm good now. Yeah.
And then speaking of teenagers, we have a teenager in the room.
That's
Isaac like Babe Ruth. Did I show you Goonies?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Okay, just checking because I don't remember. I'm old now. Leave me alone. Yeah, my son is joining us again. He'll becoming like a regular, so get used to it. I'm teaching him the bad ways. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're enjoying your weekend now, Saturday.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, this comes out a little later, but the Tyson fight was last night. I wasn't going to talk about it, but it was such a joke. I have to.
Yeah.
And Isaac, did you enjoy it?
No.
Do you hear the pain in his voice?
Yeah. Wrestling was more realistic than that shit.
People wanted Mike Tyson to win. Like
everyone did.
Straight up wanted.
It was November 5th all over again, buddy.
Jake Paul came out and they were all booing him as soon as they said his name.
Yeah.
You didn't watch, did you?
No.
Enrique? Okay. He came out to the Phil Collins song, you know, I can hear Jake Paul did.
Really?
He did it as a joke against Mike Tyson because, you know, Mike Tyson is famous for The Hangover.
Yeah.
With that song. So he was clowning him the whole time.
Oh, wow.
But of course, it was Wrestling 101. He was being the heel. Tyson was being the baby face or the, you know, kayfabe, whatever. Anyway. And then, you know, they're all supposedly they're angry, but at the end, they're like, they hug it out. And they're like, hey, buddy. They're friends, dude.
Yeah.
And you could tell that Tyson took it easy on Paul, and Paul took it easy on Tyson. Like, they didn't really go full on.
Yeah.
It was such a cop out.
That's too bad.
And then the Netflix kept freezing and then crashing and then pixelated. It was like, it was a disaster. It's like, dude, Netflix, you guys gotta like fix your shit.
Yeah, considering
Ouchcast coming to that. I'm kidding. No, yeah.
Considering it was supposed to be like a really, really big thing. I mean, you can chalk up like all of those errors to the success that it had, but they should have been prepared for it.
They should have. I mean, how can you always be prepared? But I mean, you have to at least, if you expect 10 people to join up, just be like, okay, then in that place, let's go for 30 just in case. Plus, you have all your pirates and everything else.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's too bad. Like a lot of the post fight memes are what I've been keeping up with. Dude, funny stuff, man. Like the one where they'll attach like a picture of what is in Jake Paul, and then it's next to another person. It's next to Trump. Trump has nominated, and like, you know, it's that old meme right now because you know how Trump's nominating like
wackos. Yeah.
So just funny. I was not that invested in it. I mean, I have to admit that I was morbidly curious. I knew it was coming. I was interested in it until it happened, and then I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go back and look at it. I'm not even.
There's no point to it anymore.
Yeah, not even gonna look at
the fights before were real. Those were good, but you know, no one cared about those.
There were fights before.
Yeah, it was the main card, and then there was 3 before.
Yeah, some randoms. Then Barrios versus Ramos, and then Taylor versus Serrano, I think.
Yes, Serrano.
Who's that?
Female champions, and what were they? Lightweight, cruiserweight.
The girls,
the guys, Ramos and
I think they were featherweight
champions.
Were these like? Because I don't understand boxing leagues in any way. Like, I don't know what is. Like, I don't understand the way I do like NFL or MB. You know,
there are many, but the main one is like the worldwide boxing league. That's the main one.
Okay.
That's the one that everyone has to be part of. That's the one you have to be certified and do all that stuff. Then Logan Paul came along and just did this other fake league, which is just exhibition. There's nothing. He's not ranked anywhere.
There's no stakes in it.
There's nothing. It's basically him fluffing his ego, because honestly, it's just like he's paying these people. So most of these are either, you know, has-beens that like they're not at their prime, and he's like fighting them, and he's like, oh look, I beat them, and the other ones are like, hey man, I'll give you this many million if you just like take a dive. So he's not a boxer. He's not a boxer. Logan Paul is a great wrestler.
Well, because he's in the right business. It's all about fakery.
Yeah, Logan Paul is an athlete. He's fucking badass. He the shit he does when you watch his matches, like, damn. Jake Paul is a fucking joke.
But okay, to be fair, I'm just
devil's advocate. Go.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say, like, in boxing, like you can't. Well, I mean, you can fake it, but you shouldn't fake it. And if you do, it shows, because the thing is, boxing is real. I mean, it is. It's a real sport with real consequences. People put their bodies on the line, like real. Not that, you know, wrestling, you don't do that either. There's real injuries and whatnot, because they do the acrobatics and the hits. Even the ones that are controlled drops people are gonna get hurt, but you mitigate, you know, the damage in wrestling, where in boxing you don't. The idea is to hurt the other person.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be,
that you can knock them out.
It's supposed to be pure, but once money gets involved, everything changes.
Right. And so my point though being is that somebody like Jake Paul, Logan Paul is going to thrive in wrestling because, one, they're both athletic. They both obviously have good physiques. They're both energetic and stuff. Yeah, they're so hot. Anyways, Logan Paul is going to be a really good wrestler because, one, you can tell they love the sport, or he loves the sport. Two, like, faking and, you know, the whole visual and the showmanship stuff, that's his bread and butter, right? They've been doing that since like day one, since they got on the internet and YouTube and wherever their fame was forged. Whereas like Jake Paul is just going to be like, he's not going to be a good boxer. Although people say that he is. Like a lot of people like Joe Rogan says that he's a good boxer.
Joe Rogan doesn't know shit.
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Is like, how legitimate is that?
Let me tell you this. You know who's a boxing pro? Don't laugh. Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez knows her shit. Okay. Listen to her. Any ex-boxer that's been in the ring, like Foreman, Holyfield, even fucking Buster Douglas, they all know their shit. Joe Rogan is what you would consider a armchair general when it comes to like tactic. He doesn't know shit. He's like the guys who are like, like the Philly fans for the Eagles, and they're like, they've never played. They're 200 pounds overweight, and they're sitting there being like, "What's wrong? Yeah, I could do better than that." It's like, no, you fucking can't. Dude. Shut the fuck up. That's what Joe Rogan is. Now, going back to Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a fucking boxing troll. He is. Do you guys know who Charlie Selenoff is?
No.
Do you know who Charlie Selenoff is?
No.
Okay. Charlie Selenoff, the story is, there's this young kid. He's an internet troll named Charlie Selenoff. Basically, Jake Paul without the steroids and without the money. And what this guy does is he, in his head, there's something mentally wrong with the guy. And he says that he's the world champion. And he goes around, he has a little belt that he bought himself. And he goes around saying that he's like, I don't know, like 200-0. Seriously? And he goes into boxing gyms and he challenges the professional boxers and stuff, and or people that used to be professional boxers. Like he challenged Mayweather's father, but now like Mayweather's father is like a senior citizen, like who he hasn't trained in over 30 years or something, and he challenged him. He's like, "Oh no, I can beat anybody. I can even beat you." And this and that. Now here's the thing that's off with Selenoff. Selenoff will. Yeah, okay. We'll do a spar match right now, right? And they'll get into the ring, they'll lace up, and then before the bell even rings, this guy takes cheap shots. He swings and he tries to beat you when you guys are just doing a little friendly sparring match. So he goes for the head. He does. There's videos on YouTube. Look him up, Charlie Selenoff.
Okay.
He always tries to beat up whoever he's challenging, and it's unfair and it's unsportsmanlike. Then he gets his ass beat, runs away, and then he goes, No, I won that match. That's not fair. That's not sanctioned. He's a total fucking troll. Charlie Selenoff. Look him up. He's a great fucking troll story. It's an amazing story. But there's literally something wrong with the guy because he is delusional galore, just like Jake Paul. The only difference is this guy does not do steroids and he has no money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'm like kind of looking this guy up right now. Dude, skinny, white looking guy. Well, he looks like he's like European or something, but he looks like he has no reason to be in the ring.
He doesn't. He's not professionally trained. He has no skill. He has no hook. He has nothing. And all he does is goes into these, like I said, these gyms, throws out these challenges, has a big mouth, and then tries to sucker punch every single person he goes against.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he walks up to this black guy in the gym. They're in the locker, and the guy, you can tell the guy is like he has his arms down, and all of a sudden Charlie just starts like swinging for the head.
Yeah, and then he's like, and then when he starts getting beat up, which there's a video of him getting beat up by different people, he's like, okay, there, I win. It's like the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Well,
anyways,
in this day and age, I've learned a lot about lying. I think we grew up in the 80s thinking, like good versus evil, that, once you put bad people in the light, that, they crumble under the light, and people like the popular sentiment will always weigh out, badness. But I've come to learn that the louder you proclaim a lie, the more confident you are when you proclaim it, the more that people are just going to go with you. Even if the people know you're lying, they're still going to go with you. You're going to win. And in fact, the lesson of the current age is like, lie loud, lie confidently. Doesn't matter. People will love you anyways. And
you are a rude, terrible person.
And that is the lesson. So
totally.
good on you, Charlie Zelenoff, and Rosie Perez. Like people, like I didn't know that she was a commentator with Cedric the Entertainer on the Mike Tyson fight.
Oh yeah, she was. She was on there too. Yeah.
So like I was looking. Her up, and yeah, I can see why they would want her. I mean, she
knows her stats.
Yeah,
she knows her stats. It's kind of like the other one that a lot of people don't realize is Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly's a fucking very smart cookie.
Oh yeah,
she's an amazing professional poker player. Like yeah, I've seen championship win.
I've seen her play.
Yeah, she's amazing, and people are like her. And it's like yeah, dude, she is. Like I don't know why it's so shocking.
And on a side note, isn't she just so great to look at? I love her.
She's got a beautiful mind and a beautiful body, beautiful face, beautiful everything.
She's a gorgeous woman. She's a gorgeous woman.
She gorgeous.
Come my way,
you know what
girl.
Jennifer Tilly is?
No.
You're about to have your first sweat drink.
No, he's had a few.
You know what, bro? It just
Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky.
Oh,
the actress.
Yeah,
that's Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but she's gorgeous.
I'm sorry. I'm still laughing because in my head I'm thinking like if I was in the room with my dad and my dad is telling people like my kid like. Telling my kid had like many wet dreams. That's like not funny. That's really sad. I'm so sorry for you guys. Like the therapy that you're going to be paying for like 10, 20 years from now, bro. You're gonna have to put it on him.
Hey, what's funnier, the fact that I said it as a throwaway joke, or the fact that you dissect it on air even longer, making it stretch out even more? Okay, let's get into it then. Let's find out. Okay, so how do you... oh my God. Jeez.
Tell me about your childhood now.
No, you're a jackass.
I'm living it. I'm living it now.
No, he's had a good childhood, right? He stays quiet.
You know what the audience doesn't see is the glaring look that Angel gave him when he said, you have a good childhood, right?
Good childhood, right? He's a good kid. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
So what else? Let me think.
I dated a girl that looked like Jennifer Tilly.
Nah, you're full of shit.
No, I did. She had like in terms of face. And
was it your
in
hand?
High school,
Was it your hand with lipstick and little googly eyes? And
yes.
You're like,
yeah,
we love you.
Yeah,
long time.
Yeah, no, for real. Like in high school, she had the body, and then later on, years later, when we dated again, when we were older, she got bigger, but her face was still beautiful.
Wait. She had the body of a what is it? She a 60-year-old woman in high school?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
I'm just saying. I don't know who this.
Well, I won't say the name.
Is.
I will not say the name because some things are best kept secret.
Translation: he's full of shit.
Yes, because me, I only tell terrible lies. Lies.
Hey, is that a new shirt?
Well, new-ish. New-ish. And so this is the Decemberist when I went to watch them back in June and July.
She looks familiar. But I don't know. Anyway.
You probably never met her, but she was I was seeing her post-pandemic. Good times.
Interesting.
It was sorry, not post.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. She kind of does look like her. She kind of does look like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you failed. You failed.
I failed.
Loser. I
am a failure.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a failure. I can't even say failure properly. So I failed at saying fail. All right. So anyways, done with this nasty accusations of my whatever.
Are you a racist?
So I have a question. Let's just get away from the Mike Tyson stuff because it's sad stuff. And so Doyle, man, speaking of knockouts, man, I mean, I know we've talked about it. And so for the audience, you already know Doyle's he's been gone for a while, but somewhat more official and, not checked out. He's had responsibilities but he's come to the realization that he doesn't have the time for the show. And so we want to take the time to wish him well and give him an open invitation to come back whenever all that straightens out. But,
speak for yourself. He's dead to me. Doyle, you're dead. He's not even listening, so.
You know what? We had a very constructive conversation, Angel. Let's end on that high note with it.
No.
We all got on a 3-way call. We talked about the future of the show, his involvement, and let's just say that the invitation will always be open for him. But in the immediacy, he is going to not be part of the show, just because life is a son of a bitch and gets in the way.
He's a flake. He's always been a flake. And only his fleas will mourn him. No, he good on him. You know, life got in the way. He's moved on. He will be back. It's not goodbye. It's goodbye. It's see you later. That's what it is. It's a see you later.
Please, bro. I could that Aladdin line, dude. That's wild, dude. You know what?
The fact that you got that is fucking awesome.
You just pulled that out, man. That was, you know, I'm gonna high five you.
High five.
That was well done. Well done.
Yeah, I had to do.
Please, we'll mourn you.
So he's moved on, but he'll be back. Good times. The show will be changing for season 5. Oh my god, the season's almost over, dude.
It is. Only your fleas will mourn you. I'm sorry.
He's still on that.
I don't know why that's cracking me up so much this morning. All right, anyways, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done.
No, but yeah, the show's the season's almost over. Isaac's been added because now he's being more active. But
I mean, he's been on the show enough that, you know, he's definitely our like shadow.
Yeah,
he's
our intern.
He's our shadow. Yeah, there you go. I like it. You're an intern.
You're the intern. Jerry hasn't been around for a while. Jerry. HR, as always, is not helpful. Just like a real corporation.
Just like a real HR.
Yeah, just like a real HR.
You know what?
Not there when you need them.
They're there in name, but not in body or form or anyway.
Yeah. And then, of course, Cisco has a life, so he hasn't been on the show since the first 2 times that he's been on.
That's true.
And then Mark has joined us for twice. Robert's been around for a while. I would like to have Robert on more.
Yeah, me too.
Robert was fun. Robert, Babo.
Yeah.
Alonzo.
You'll be back.
You'll be back. No, I'm not going to sing Hamilton, damn it. And then...
well, you should, but you should also spit like halfway through the song and just leave it.
An extensive amount just drooling down?
Yeah, and just leave it there, like froth in the mouth, bro.
No.
If you guys haven't watched the Hamilton on Disney Plus, do yourself a favor and watch it. You'll see what we're talking about.
Jonathan Groff says that's usually how he is when he sings. Like, he spits a lot. He's a spitter, and I'm like,
Did he wave? She said. Yeah, I was about to say, did he wave his flag while he was saying that? I was like, I spit. I don't swallow.
Spits and swallows. Ugh. Anyway. Good
Close
stuff.
your ears. Muff your ears there, intern.
Can I rant about something real quick?
Haven't you been...
No. Something, now that we're talking about musicals real quick.
Sure.
You know, I'm a big musical dude. Like, I love musicals.
Yes.
Yeah. And for work, I've been using a lot of musicals as backdrop to listen to while I'm doing my work and putting together my proposals and stuff. And the last 2 that I had listened to, or I watched and listened to, were Mamma Mia and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. What a piece of garbage.
That's the sequel.
That's the sequel.
And
there was no stage sequel. There was only Mamma Mia, the one musical, the stage musical, and then they decided to cash in and be like, oh, let's do a sequel to that one that was a film exclusive, and it was basically kind of like a prequel sequel where they go back in time to when Donna was young, but basically everything that she spoke about on the first one, they show you what happens on the second one, and then. Dude, how can you kill off your main star on the sequel? So when it starts, fucking Donna is dead. Like, she died. And then you just reuse the same songs, and it's just not good. And now for me to find is like Hollywood, they're making a 3rd one. They're making Mamma Mia 3.
What's that going to be about?
I have no idea. You know what? They're probably waiting a few years. It's probably going to be Amanda Seyfried's character, the daughter of Donna. It's going to be like her daughter. So it's going to be like, oh, now it's the new generation of Mamma Mia. And they'll probably like throw some Bee Gees in or some shit. I don't know. Something stupid. But, that also reminded me of the fucking thing you sent me last night. Return of the Living Dead remake? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
How can you make... That movie like it's so ingrained in like 80s kind of punk lore that it just wouldn't...
It won't work. Well, although there's I guess, a retrograde punk nowadays.
Sure.
Scene, but it's not the same. Now, you have 5 Return of the Living Dead movies. Okay, out of the 5, there's only 3 that are considered cult classics. Okay, there's Return of the Living Dead, which is, Scuzz, Spider, Suicide, all of them here in LA.
The oil drum.
Yeah, the original with Tarman. And,
Tarman, there you go.
And Freddy and Bert and Ernie and all them. And so that's the first one. Then you have the sequel, which was the one that they get killed by lightning, not fire. And that one's which is a spoof of the first one. Great movie. Then you have Return of the Living Dead 3 with the one. It's basically just one zombie, which is the girlfriend of the guy who finds the trioxin barrel, played by a very beautiful actress named Mindy Clark, which is. It's a great movie. It's super cheesy. There's one line from the movie that I always remember, which is "Wake up, caca." That would always be a classic to me. Then
it's the sequel of Return of the Living Dead. Is that the one where you get the whole scene where the electrical grid and then one zombie just like out of nowhere just is like
is Michael
Jackson's Thriller?
Yeah,
and the dude's doing the dance before he dies.
Yeah,
is that the second one?
That's the second one.
Fucking genius.
The second one is a spoof on the first one. So
which is a spoof on like the original one.
Yeah, but
the
it's more of a tongue in cheek. It's kind of like how Evil Dead 2 is a spoof of Evil Dead 1. It's the same approach they did for Evil Dead
hold on. Whoa, slow your roll there, dog. That dog won't hunt. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. That analysis is incorrect. I do not see Evil Dead 2 as a spoof on Evil Dead 1.
Look it up.
It's not. It's not.
Up. It's the retelling of the same story with a little more of a dark humor added to it.
Shit. Well, when you put it like that.
And Sam Raimi has already said, yeah, that's kind of what he wanted to go.
He can say whatever the hell he wants. So, like people, like once you put something out into the world, it's like no longer yours. It's
I 1,000% agree with that sentiment. Like seriously, that statement is exact. Like, George Lucas can go eat my ass. Star Wars is not his.
Like the original idea is yours.
Yeah.
It will always be yours. What you
create is yours.
What you put out initially, like, or rather, I should say, the idea that you use to create it is yours. But once it's out in the wild, it becomes a collective thing where everybody's like sort of feelings about it are valid to some degree, as long as they don't veer too far off from the original concept. Like if you believe that the original Star Wars is a Western in space, great. If you believe that it's a samurai story in space, great. There's enough of you to corroborate it. It becomes fact, and that's all right. It's all good. If George Lucas comes around and says, nah, it's not a Western. It's meant to be, a polemic on good versus evil in our political times, whatever.
While in the closet saying, I just ripped off, Flash Gordon. yeah,
pretty much. And so
Akira Kurosawa.
So, when it comes to like, okay, I see what you mean with Evil Dead, because Evil Dead 1 clearly was meant to be serious. It was meant to be a serious horror movie. They just happened to be funny even then too. Yeah. And then when they did the second one, he just doubled down on the humor. Right, because Bruce Campbell is just funny as hell. He just leaned into it. Yeah, he cannot help to be funny, and so it comes out, and then it just turns into funny, and it just gets funnier and funnier as it goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Ash versus the Evil Dead, or Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Yeah,
hilarious goddamn movie, dude.
That's a great movie.
I don't mean to my horn,
Evil Dead the show. Evil Dead the show.
Oh, dude, and now that one is. But I'll tell you what, that show, as good as it is. Like the one that came out on Stars, and I guess you can see it on Netflix or wherever it's at now. The first episode was the only one that was directed by Sam Raimi, and it's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
such a great. And the rest of the show, while it's good, never really lived up to that.
Oh no, pilot. 100%.
Because no one can do Sam Raimi like Sam Raimi. They just can't. They can try, but they can't.
It depends on the context too, because some of the stuff that he does is not great. I'm looking at you, Doctor Strange and the madness.
That movie was fantastic, dude. You know what the problem with that movie was? No. I'm gonna tell you what the problem with that movie was. It wasn't him. No. It wasn't him. It was Marvel. It was Marvel. It's always Marvel. It's because here's the thing. It was the constraint. Well, it was the constraints of Marvel at that time wanting to continue the sort of storytelling pattern that wasn't working. I think the reason why Guardians worked was because no one believed in it at the time it was coming up, and so what's his name? The
Snyder?
The director of Guardians.
Sean.
No, fool. He's now the DC the DC
Sean Gunn.
Is it Sean Gunn?
No, it's not Sean Gunn. It's
James Gunn, bro.
James Gunn.
Yeah,
James Gunn. Sean Gunn is the brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So James Gunn like had like carte blanche, and he's a dude that comes from the same world that Sam Raimi did in terms of like the horror and the camp and the, and so they let him run wild with Guardians. It worked, and he stuck to it for the third one, because in the second one, while it wasn't as good as the first one, you can tell that they were trying to constrain him in the second one. You can tell.
Well, that's the thing. Okay.
And it was good. It's a good movie. I'm just saying it's not as good.
Let's get around to the problem with Marvel. Marvel basically overstepped its boundaries and now is trying to lead every movie their way, their vision, without giving a lot of freedom to the directors. Mm-hmm. That's why Edgar Wright left Ant-Man, because he wanted to do a certain type of movie, and he made the building blocks, but then Marvel interjected and he did not like that, so he left. That was the reason he left. What
a missed opportunity there too.
That would have been.
I'm going to put a pin on that one.
Although I love Ant-Man, I would give a left nut or my firstborn for Ant-Man Edgar Wright.
It's a good deal. See you later, bro.
Bye, Isaac. But he's just looking at us like, what?
He's going to be sold into Hollywood slavery. Oh, it's a dark cavernous hole you're going into, my guy.
You're going in the Feldman way. So we're gonna
see him in 10 years. He's gonna come with he's gonna be doing his Michael Jackson.
He's gonna be doing his Michael Jackson and opening up for Limp Bizkit.
So Isaac, here's my prediction. If we sell you into the Hollywood like cavernous hole, 10 years from now you're gonna come, and you know how your voice is like really like kind of like it's kind of deep. When we see you 10 years from now, I'd be like, hey guys, how's it going?
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
I was like, hey,
play with me, Michael. He's gonna be telling his brother, play with me, Alex.
It's like, here's some Jesus juice, bro.
Jesus juice.
Isn't that what he called his wine?
Yeah, that's what he called wine. Jesus juice. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
All right, done. Sorry. I don't even know what we were talking about.
Marvel. Yeah, that's the part with Marvel. That's why it's kind of gone downhill, because it does not treat its performers and directors properly. Like, I get it, they have a vision, but they gotta like give a little leeway to the creative side. And right now it's become a business. Disney's like, no, how much millions can we make off of this? And they've lost their way.
So Edgar Wright, dude, wow, man, what a great opportunity that could have been. He's so good at action, and he needs to do a comic book movie. They need to let him do a comic book movie, but he just won't fit into any
Scott Pilgrim.
Well, yeah, I hate that movie didn't do better than it did.
It did now after the fact.
I love that it's a cult hit, and it's going to continue to be a cult hit. It will stand the test of time, and I believe that movie 100 years from now will still be around. People will still be watching it.
It's great. It's great. Did you see the anime on Netflix?
I have. I've been watching it. It's been a slow going, because in my initial watching of it, went in with a lot of expectation, because it was Scott Pilgrim and because all the actors came back and did voices. That's a problem with me. Like, I recognize that it had nothing to do with the quality of the show, because it's a quality anime. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's animated. The music is amazing. It has a great idea. I just wanted it to be Scott Pilgrim 2. And that's not what it is.
No, it's not an alternate timeline.
2. It's completely an alternate timeline, but it's also thematically also different.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be Scott Pilgrim, the movie, and it's not.
No,
and that's okay. But see, that's a problem with me. Now, I've been rewatching it right now, and I've really been enjoying it. But I've been going slow. So right now, I'm in the episode where Ramona goes to find Gideon, and remember, he's living with I forget what's her name, and he's now called Gordon something.
Julia, no, is it?
It's some silly name, and that's where I'm at. And again, I'm enjoying it. It's really, really funny. It's really good. But
so I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait till you finish it.
Slow. No, just go for it. Go for it. I don't mind spoilers. I'm good.
There's no spoilers. It's just the way that the approach of the anime. You remember it, right, Isaac?
I don't. You fell asleep a lot. I don't remember what happened.
We were watching it because I showed him Scott Pilgrim. He liked Scott Pilgrim, so we're like, okay, the anime is coming out. Okay, let's watch it. And I kept having to stop because he kept falling asleep. I don't know if it was because he was bored or tired. I don't know, whatever.
That's because when I was having practice, and
is that what it was?
Come home and we would never watch it until late at night.
Well, because the kids, we have to wait till the kids leave. So we have little ones, and there's a lot of stuff that we watch together. Me and Isaac, that like South Park.
Yeah.
That we have to wait till after their bedtime. So
Yeah, you definitely don't want to.
so their bedtime is 9 o'clock in the house. So we wait then 9:30 to get them actually all to like, you know, finally kick in and go to sleep, because they're like, no, I'm not tired, all that crap. So finally 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. By that time, not only him, but I'm spent from work and stuff.
Right.
So a lot of times we want to watch stuff and then we just either fall asleep or just don't finish it.
Yeah.
Or, which happens a lot, is we'll be like, yeah, us three, my wife, Isaac, and me, we'll watch this horror movie. We'll watch this thing. Okay. And then my wife falls asleep, putting the kids to sleep. So then me and Isaac are like, well, I guess we're not watching it. So that happens pretty often to us, but it is what it is. So for Scott Pilgrim, that was what was happening. He was falling asleep a lot. So he'd be watching it, he'd be on the other couch on the love seat, and then something funny would happen, or something like, oh shit, that's different, and then I'd make a comment and get nothing in return, and I'm like, Isaac, and then I turn to look over, and he's like, so I'm like, oh fuck. So I would stop and be like, hey, go to bed, and then he wouldn't complain. He'd be like, yeah, okay. He goes to bed. So it took us a long time to finish. I don't think you actually finished it. Matter of fact, you didn't finish it, huh?
No.
Yeah.
We like rewatched the last scene, but I don't remember what happened.
Yeah. The ending was okay. It was good. It should.
I think I remember the most is when the two exes were in the girl's house.
Yeah.
With the skate ramp. And
yeah. That was pretty cool. But good times. Anyway.
Sorry. You know what? I completely failed at taking like running notes. So if you hear tapping, I just started. I'll do better.
Don't worry about it.
It's a common thing, guys, by the way, for anybody who wants to see behind the curtain. We suck. We suck at like, oh, actually, that's not true. Angel,
at this point, I think they realize it.
Angel is great at like, once he's like motivating, he's got that fier derriere, as we used to say in the project management world where I came from. You know, he had that fire.
The gas in the ass.
The gas in the ass. There you go. And he got to it. The podcast has been, or I should say, the website has been updated as of last night. He's made like changes to like our page where we sell stuff. It's really cool. Like Angel's.
I've added some merch, guys. Come on, buy some.
Buy some.
Oh, thank you. No, so it's pretty cool.
Actually, I have to say that the merch on there now is really cool. I really like the inky logo that you put on the cups and stuff, and the shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I did that. I did it with the new, where it says Ouchcast on there. I put the old Ouchie on a beanie. I put just our logo, just the font itself on a pint glass and a hat. Yeah. Which I'm probably going to get for myself.
So, I mean, I'm really excited about that particular logo. I've always have been since day one. Like when it was first brought in, it just, I feel like
George nailed it, man.
Yeah.
George nailed it.
Anybody who,
R.I.P. George.
Yeah, R.I.P. George. We'll see you in hell,
motherfucker.
And only hear him please will warn you. That was a killer line, my guy. Anyways, the logo is so great, dude. Like if you guys have it on your desk, it just stands out. And honestly, you don't even have to like the show. It's actually a really just cool logo to have in general.
Which they don't.
Yeah, who does? I don't like it, man. I barely watch it.
The light went on in your closet.
Again. So there's this light in I have a closet door on the other side of the room, in the classroom, and there's a little portal window. And we all believe, like here in the school, that room actually used to be used as a comm room. I'm going to use that term as a euphemism for like a seclusion room.
Isolation.
And I mean, and just for context for that, I mean, this we've said it before, but this school is on a church site. And back in the days, like we're talking like 60s and 70s, the churches were primarily used to educate not only the community, but also people of special needs in the community. Oftentimes that meant that these places would turn into like sanitariums in a way. I don't know that they were called that at the time, but they were definitely a setting. And I know that rooms like those closets were used in order to house people when they were having episodes like psychotic breaks, when they were being physical, self-harm. They would be padded. You can see the remnants of that in one of the rooms downstairs where the padding is still in there, but the door's been taken off because seclusion is not allowed in the state of California, like at all. You cannot seclude. So like, for example,
fucking liberals.
I'll tell you, Isaac, at your school, if you wanted to leave the classroom, right, and your teacher stood in the way and blocked you from leaving your classroom door, you could sue her or him. Like
Yeah.
you cannot be secluded. You cannot be touched. And that's well and good. Honestly, it's well and good because you have that freedom of movement. However, there is, there should be like a kind of fine line in terms of safety in all of that. And I mean, I'll get off my soapbox on that one. Back to the room though. That room, there's a light in there. And so every now and then it turns on and off. Now I never pay attention to it, so I never see it, but you guys have been seeing that happen, right?
On the last time we recorded with Robert here, and my son was in front of me. Robert was to my left where Isaac's sitting now, and then you were over here. As I'm talking, it was a lot brighter out, but we had the lights off, and I saw the light on, and I didn't think nothing of it. But then I started seeing like a little shadow, like, where you see shadows of someone moving around on the bottom of the doorway. I kept seeing that in that room, and I'm like, what is that? I thought at first it was a car behind me, but it didn't make no sense. So during the break between the two sessions of the recordings, I went over there, and I'm like, what am I looking at? And I went, and I unlocked it, and it's just your storage for your, games and stuff for the classroom. There was nothing in there. So I don't know what the heck that was.
Not even room for anything to move around.
Yeah. And then afterwards, as we're talking and I'm discussing it with Robert and Isaac, we look back and the light is off.
Yeah.
So right now when we came in, I made a point to look at it and it was off. This whole time it was off. Now it's on. I don't see no one moving in there, but
I'm sure. I mean, we can go open the door. I'll go open it now.
Yeah, go open and see if it's anything. So Enrique's going to go over there and get killed by the Babadook. And he's going over. He's walking. This is where I play the tuba music when he's playing. And it's locked. You have somebody in there locked up, don't you? Who's that? Yeah, dude. There's nothing in there but balls.
Yeah, I'm going to put a picture here of somebody.
Yeah, turn it off, dude. That's fucking trippy. If it comes back on, I'm leaving. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So there was no ghost?
No, just balls.
Just balls. There were like soccer balls.
A big purple one in the corner. There was like a yoga ball, or what was it? What do they call those big balls? The yoga balls?
Yeah.
Are they yoga balls?
Yeah, yoga balls.
Yeah, one of those. Enrique loves balls.
The students require them for PE. So,
so you're actually the gym teacher as well.
I'm like the teacher for everything here. I teach. I mean, everything on that board up there, I teach. ELA, math. Shit. I teach lunch, PE, science, social studies, electives. That's all me.
So your kids are like with you nonstop then?
Yeah.
Damn.
They're with me all day.
That's crazy.
But I like it.
Kudos to you, my friend, because I wouldn't have patience for it.
I have other friends that teach.
You have other friends?
No. The truth be told, I do not actually.
I'm just fucking.
No, really. I don't feel like I think.
You have colleagues. He got quiet.
Yeah,
he's crying.
I'm crying.
I broke Enrique.
No,
Munchkin. It's just you.
I have friends, but I don't know, man. Like as I'm getting older, I'm reassessing what friends mean, right? Yeah. Like what it means to be friends with somebody and what they bring into your life, that sort of thing. I'm reassessing all of it.
Friends.
I'm thinking it.
How many of us have them?
And as you get older, it's harder to make them, right? I mean, you can have casual friends at work and you meet them at bars and stuff like that, and that's great because that is. Sometimes all you have the time for.
It's true.
And I used to be very judgmental of that sort of friendship. But now I kind of wish I was better at that sort of thing. I'm not.
Yeah. And
so for me now, like, real friends are the people that, are there like all the time, or at least most of the time, people like yourself. And so generally speaking, I think I'm evolving. I'm changing,
You're growing up.
Yeah. Well, also what you need as you get older becomes different, right?
Yeah. I have a handful of friends that I consider friends. Everyone else is just kind of like friends with parentheses or quotation marks, basically. Yeah. I do have a lot of those. That's what, hence the social hermit thing. Like I have a lot of social media friends that I've known for years, but they ask me, let's hang out. And I'll be like, yeah, but we would never really do. Because, that's adulthood. That's what you do. But I do have some that I would drop anything to go help. You were one of them. Doyle, George, but they're dead to me now, so not really. And then they're out of the loop. And then there's Mark, for him. Nikki, I've known for forever, dude. I knew when her kids were like little. Now they're in their 20s now. So Nikki is like a good friend of mine that's not really close, but like whenever we talk to each other, it's like we picked up right where we left off. So she's like a female me, so that's why I get along with her. And then even though she was like dull on the podcast, thanks Nikki. And then that's about it. Everyone else is either friends that I have that come and go, or friends that I have that were colleagues at one point, and I'll see them once in a while. They're friends, but it's not as close as the ones I just mentioned.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to like what other people feel about that. It'd be nice to maybe like have a talk with other people about that. I know that you're wanting to do a podcast about religion and the different religions and what they mean to different people. It's a great idea.
Religion, sex, and power, please.
But I want to
manipulate the people with the money they pay.
I want to like also like think about what relationships are. I mean, it's nothing funny. It's more just like what that means. As you get older, you start getting more aware of your time on this planet without getting all morbid and crap. But too late, yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty. Let me ask you this, Angel. Like, are you afraid of death?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
I'm welcoming actually.
Now for me, well, okay, that's. I'm not so much afraid of death, but what I am afraid of is that I haven't quite met my potential, and I haven't quite done the things that I really want to do. Which almost sounds strangely like, yeah, I'm afraid of death. I'm not. I think I'm just more afraid of the disappointment.
You're just not ready. That's what it is.
I don't think I'm ready. But if I were told on Monday that, hey, look, you got a finite amount of weeks, days, months, I think that I would steel myself for it. I also know that, for example, like if a family member passed away.
Oh, that's different.
That would probably break me for a bit, and I would have to reassess myself. So those are the things that I've been thinking about.
I can't deal with loved ones' deaths. That I'm not ready for. That I'm afraid of. That I don't want to go through. I've been through too many of those at this point in my life where it's like enough is enough. I don't want to see other people pass before me.
That's interesting because you have actually dealt with it. I haven't, other than Eric.
So much with it that and I remember the first funeral I went to, I was in kindergarten.
Okay. Oh.
And it was my uncle.
And you remember
he died of a heart attack. Yeah, I remember because I was close to my uncle. He lived in Riverside with my aunt Lorena and my cousin Sonia and Veronica. Okay. And we used to go visit them like every month, and so we would hang out and we were close. It was my mom's stepbrother. That's what it was, or something like that. So we were close, and all of a sudden I remember that they just picked me up from school and they're like, hey, your uncle passed away. We gotta go condole them and stuff. And I remember how it impacted me, and I was like, damn, he's gone. Like it took me months to get over it because I was just like, I knew what death was. Thank you, Voltron. But
yeah, and
Robotech, yeah.
Foreshadowing for next podcast.
But it did affect me. And then fast forward, I had a good friend of mine, Steven, who his mom died when we were in first grade, and I remember that. And our moms were really close, so I went through that. Then his dad died a couple years later. I went through that. And then when I was in junior high, he killed himself.
Oh man,
so I went through that as well. My mom had a large family. They've all passed away. She's the last one. Mm-hmm. I was close to a lot of them, my aunts and uncles. I've had cousins that passed away. I've had, of course, the big one, my father, when I was just a teenager.
I have a question. I don't mean to stop you there, but yeah. You had a family member that committed suicide. How old were you when you knew that?
When Steven committed suicide?
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade.
See, okay, so let me ask you this. I feel like
as a close friend, not family member.
Like I feel like if somebody close to you commits suicide, I feel like it's something that you shouldn't tell people until they're like maybe adults. In my opinion, this is truly my opinion because I feel like death is hard enough.
It does traumatize you.
Yeah, I was going to say death is hard enough to grasp and to come to terms with. But then to tell a young person who, doesn't at all ever consider mortality, right? I mean, you guys are invincible. I'm pointing at you, Isaac. You guys are invincible. Like, the future is so far ahead of you that you can't imagine that there's that it's impermanent, that there's a finality. It's hard. I mean, you could say I do, but the concept of it is difficult. I remember myself very clearly at your age, where I remember standing in the high school, and you'll remember this, Angel, because we were in the same high school, but where you know how you could in September mornings how beautiful and clear the mountains would be. You could see them so clear because back then we actually had seasons, and it would get colder in those times. And I remember
you could see the San Gabriel Mountains in downtown LA from the high school.
Yeah, and so there were times when I would stand out there because I was in marching band, and we'd have to go out in the morning and do drills around the field, and we'd practice our drum cadences and marching in time.
Your drum line, yeah. And
I would be there like 6:30 in the morning, so it'd be a little dark. And as the light gets lighter, I would feel like this very clear feeling of like how big the world was. Even though now I know better, it's not that big.
No,
but at the time it felt bigger,
minute.
And with that bigger feeling, that sense of bigness, I also felt like there was like more. I couldn't see, like, I knew about death then, because I mean, what kid isn't like morbidly obsessed, with death or whatever? I mean, Kurt Cobain had passed away in '94, and I remember being like really sad about that. But I didn't have a concept of death that applied to me. I knew of death. I knew that people die. I knew that maybe I would die someday, but I just never felt it. And all I felt was like the bigness of it. But I can only imagine that suicide, and sort of having to deal with that, and including any other type of death, but suicide on top of that, man, I can't imagine being able to come to grips with that. It would shape you. It would break you in some way, maybe, right?
For me personally, I can't speak for others, but for me, so much death in my life did affect me. It changed me. Not only I don't think it has. My depression is a chemical imbalance. It has nothing to do with events in my life. Sure. But I am a strong believer that did influence some of my mentality, some of my thoughts. I remember thinking it's hard for me. Like, okay, for instance, you said you really haven't been close to death until your brother-in-law. Yeah, he's the closest one in your family that has passed away.
The closest person that died was my grandfather, but I wasn't close to him.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more dealing with my dad, like having to deal with that. Right in 2005, 2000.
More towards the empathy towards him.
And it was sad. Like, I remember watching my dad like cry, and it did. There was it was a focal point for me, because watching the vulnerability of your father does change you. You sort of feel different after that.
Yeah.
There are like these hallmarks of life that we all go through, and they're different for everybody, but some we share. And one of those, I think, as a boy, is seeing your father in a different way that changes how you feel, not just about him, but about yourself in life. For me, it was that day. And but I didn't mourn my grandfather. I was mourning with my dad.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it makes total sense, because it happened also with my father. His mother died in February of '97. And I remember it destroyed my father. Mm-hmm. Now, the timing is everything. So, I mean, I don't want to compare the two, but not only did my grandmother die in February '97, but the family dog, or my dad's dog, died like 2 months later.
Yeah, well, that's... Yeah.
And then we thought he was going through a depression because of all that. He wasn't eating. He said the food tasted funny, this and that. He went to the doctors in July. They tested him. He had stage 4 cancer. And it was stomach cancer, and it was genetic, and it was so quick that it was like that instant. So he died the following year, February of '98. So I did go through that with him, the death of my grandmother, which I didn't know her. I met her twice in my life, once when I was 14, one when I was 15. And I just heard stories about her, and I know how much my dad honored and respected her, and I saw how hard it was for him to lose that. My grandfather, his father, died of stomach cancer before I was even born, around the same age, actually. My dad says he was about 20 when my grandfather died. So it tracks. Again, I can only speak about my personal experiences, but having a close family member die, you never get over it. Losing a parent, you'll never get over it. It's been... Dude, I was 18 and I'm now 45, about to be 46, and I'm still not over it. You know, it emotionally stunted me. It fucked me, my psyche. It did a lot of stuff. And death does that. The closer it is to you, the worse it makes you feel. Monkey, I'm sorry, but you're going through the same thing right now.
I'm so sorry, man.
His grandfather just passed away last week.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry to hear that, guys.
Yeah, his grandfather passed away last week.
Yeah, how you holding up, brother?
I'm all right.
Yeah. How close were you with him, if you don't mind me
Extremely.
asking? Yeah. See, I have to ask only because I think of my kid Javier and my kid Sammy, who are like extremely close with my dad. Well, Sammy more so because he's 21 now. And he's lived in the same house with my dad. So my dad is like a second dad to him in a way. Like he's a permanent fixture. So when my dad or my mom's time comes, I can only imagine how difficult that's going to be for him. And then for my kid Hobby, who doesn't come around as much, but he is incredibly close with them when he's there, loves them to death. Mm-hmm. So I do sometimes wonder, like what, like when that time comes, what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to be mourning my father and my mother whenever that time comes. I also know that I'm going to have to be strong for them because it's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah.
And so I think about that. And so that's kind of why I'm, wondering how you're holding up and sort of what supports, you need, because it's just a week, man. I can't imagine how difficult that must be for you.
It was hard. He's spoken about it a bit, but time and all that. This is his first major loss in his life. So I mean, I understand it's fresh. He's not ready to talk about it, which is totally understandable. It took me a while to actually talk about my dad. I kept deflecting for I think like a year or something like that. I kept I would only talk to like my best friend at the time. I would tell him something. Well, you were there in that time period when he was sick.
Yeah.
You helped me out a lot, and then I kind of just disappeared from everybody. I wasn't around anymore.
Yeah.
It does affect you, dude. It really does.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry, man.
And I lost my favorite aunt in November of 2020 from cancer as well. I almost lost my sister, but lucky for her, we were a match, and I was able to give her some of my stem cells and some of my blood platelets and stuff, and she was saved from stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
That's awesome, dude.
So she's in remission now. I mean, she has a lot of health issues, and I did not know this, but I guess a lot of my DNA traits went to her.
Uh-oh.
So she has like migraines that I used to have. She has them.
Really?
Yeah, she has bad migraines because of me.
So are migraines like
hereditary? I don't think so, but for some reason the doctor said it might be some kind of connection between us.
I
did not
really
know that.
Yeah.
On her hair color changed. She used to have a different kind of hair color. Now it's the same hair color as mine.
Oh, man,
and it's a different texture than what she used to have.
That's a trip.
So we're laugh about that because it's like she's changed.
So now she's got pubes on her head.
She's got pubes on her head, and on top of that, she God, what's the name of she's got another disease now because of me. Something about donors. It's like a donor's disease or something like that, like a rejection disease of the body, genetics.
Okay.
So she has no tear ducts.
Man, you fucked her up.
Yeah. So her eyes. She's always,
you saved her life, and the only price was to fuck her up.
Yeah, I saved her to ruin her.
Oh, sorry. I need to watch my language. Let's beep that. Bleep.
No. We'll get used to it in season 5. Right now, let's just be ourselves.
That's future us problem.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll piss it away in post.
But no, yeah, dude, she has no tear ducts, so she has to get like these drops for lubricant on her eyes, and she can't really drive as much. So I feel bad for her because of that. It's some kind of disease. I forgot what it's called.
You're like, love you, sis.
Yeah, I love her to death, but I'm glad she's with us. But she does have a lot of health issues now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's me with death, dude. It surrounds me, and my wife says I have a morbid infatuation with death, but it's not that it's morbid. It's just it's around me. It's hard for her to put herself in my shoes because she's never had anyone close to her die until her ex-father-in-law, Isaac's grandfather, who just passed. That's for her first major death.
Oh wow.
She hasn't had, and she's taking it hard too.
I imagine.
But she's never had someone.
What about the Virgie?
Yeah, that one too. But I don't think that I don't know if she's passed it on. Like, I don't think it was that close. I mean, they were close, but I don't think they were like as close as, you know, your grandpa and her were.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was close. That was a closer bond. That was the closest thing your mom had to a father. You know, because her relationship with her father, your other grandpa, is non-existent.
Yeah, my grandpa helped her out so much.
Yeah, your mom and me to an extent loved your grandpa. He was a great man. So, I mean, we suffered with that as well. And that, I mean, it's different. It's your grandpa, but we were close. We are close to him and Carmen. We are, and we care for them. They're our family. So it is really, really hard for us as well. But, you know, I digress. But what I'm saying is your mom has not had as much closeness to death as I'm not making it less. It's just a matter of fact. She doesn't understand. She's never lost like a parent, which is a huge hit. But she did lose other people around her, but she's just built differently. She can compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize. There you go. Thank you. Her feelings when it comes to that. I can't. Mine's a floodgate. It just opens up and I'm fucked. There's a big difference. But it sucks. But yeah, no. But like to say it,
just to generalize
I'm
this,
ready
though.
to go ahead and like, hey.
So let me ask this. I mean, just so we can get sort of back on into like sort of a generalization perspective on it all. Like, what is the one main thing, maybe two main things that you can think of that really would help people in dealing with loss? And I know that we're probably not the most effective dealers of emotions, but I mean, we all have our strategies. I mean, I'll go first. For me, with my dad, it was there was a sort of detachment that I had with my grandfather, but I spoke of it often so that I could make it real. You know what I'm saying? Because I think oftentimes our tendency is to, you know, turtle, you know, kind of like go inward and just not deal with it. And so for me, it was talking about it to the point where it's probably obnoxious. And then recently with the loss of Eric, my brother-in-law, the last few years, there were moments where like I didn't feel it, like, and then there were moments when I would. One moment was on my bookshelf. I have one of the pamphlets from his funeral service, or the church service that we had. It was at this really big, you know, Christian church, and because, you know, my sister and him were. They were part of a big group of a church that they started. I mean, it wasn't like a cult or nothing. It was an actual Christian church, but they just branched off another group because that other group was corrupt in some way with their monies and whatever. A lot of drama was happening, so a lot of the families got together to continue their regular services, but do it in a smaller place.
Right.
Long story short, they grew enough that they had these services in these larger church, and I remember being at this service with this huge like jumbo screen in it, and his picture was flashed and a lot, and, you know, pictures of him and my sister from when they were younger, and it was a weird kind of day. A pamphlet was given to us of that service, and on it is a picture of him, and so I have that on my bookshelf, but it's kind of dug in between books. And one morning I get up to get something from that shelf because I keep my medicines there too, and I saw that picture there, and it threw me back for a minute, dude. I had to like sit down because for a second I almost forgot how he looked. Not that I did, because when I think about it, I can see him, but I don't actively think about it. And then when I saw it, it was like he was real, and it hurt. Like, man, it hurt.
When you absorb it, it's a little harder.
And so what I do is I again talk about it in the hopes of sort of like trying to feel it, because I tend to not talk about my feelings when given the opportunity. I don't.
Most men are like that. We don't talk about it.
So those are the things that I do. And one of the other things, obviously, is just simple stuff like, you know, like I read, I play games, I just try to get distracted. So what about you, Angel? How do you deal with that, with loss?
Badly. Yeah. I have problems letting go of a lot of things. So I just basically just sit there and marinate in my thoughts, and I go down the downward spiral. I let the emotions overtake me. I let it run its course until I can finally release, because I'm not going to be able to just let go and just distract myself. It doesn't work that way for me. For me, once the thought is in, it's in. And I don't know how to cope with that. And, you know, my wife will be like, you have to learn how to live with it. And yeah. And, you know, that's life. I can't do it. I'm too old to learn new tricks right now. So my dad pops into my head every other thought. Always. When I hug Isaac, I think of my dad. when I hug my kids, I think of him. When I play with them, I play the same games that he taught me. I play with them. I live in the moment, and I try to pass on even a fraction of the love that my dad gave me to my kids. And as long as they know that I love them so much, I'm happy.
So if I can summarize that, it sounds like one of the strategies then is you concentrate on your immediate family, because their needs are important.
Yeah.
That is actually a very healthy way to do it, man. You may not feel that, but it is. What about you, Isaac? If I can ask you, like, what is helping you right now? Like, I mean, I know that it's very, very, very soon, so maybe maybe it's not a fair question, but in the best of your ability, what do you think is like helping you right now?
I don't know. Nothing really. I mean, I haven't really been doing nothing. The most I've done is like look at pictures of me and him.
Mm-hmm.
He's still in the mourning process.
For sure.
It's really fresh. He's not really...
But the closest with your dad helps, right? In the family, kind of like you guys are coming together. I think that's important, right? Coming together.
He spent a lot of time with his biological father's family. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't been around a lot. He just came back on Monday, and then
everyone has been busy.
I've been sequestered at work. Sure. So this is the first time we've actually spent time together since Leo's passing, his grandfather.
Right.
He's been with them mostly. Mm-hmm. They've been dealing with it in their way. But we haven't really had a chance to talk. I think you and your mom have, right? Yeah. Right. But me and him have not. And last night was the first time that I actually was able to like let go of some work, and I was finally able to rest. But then we had the fight, so we haven't really talked about it. We haven't really talked.
Yeah. Well, it's a process, guys.
Yeah.
And I think being here doing this is part of it, and so it's good. I mean, it's hard, man, but without getting religious, because I'm not the religious person, I think Doyle would probably have had something a little bit more like religiously comforting to say. But I will just say that, the time will continue. You will use these opportunities to get closer, and while I don't think you'll ever not feel it, I imagine that it'll become like a duller ache and more like a sad but crucial memory to have, and then you guys will grow from it. I mean, that seems almost like not helpful, but I think in the long run it does.
I know it's cliche and kind of like eye rolling.
And I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to. Me myself.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
I think so.
Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's kind of true, but kind of not. It doesn't heal them. It kind of just scabs them. Like it's still going to be there. You're still going to have scar tissue, but with time, it'll help you.
I think time heals most wounds. I think time also alters the pain of wounds and makes it so that you'll have a scar.
And your perception changes as well.
Yeah, and you'll have a thicker kind of skin to sort of deal with it. And so you will never not feel something from it. I think if you don't feel anything from it, then maybe there's something to be said there.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I do believe that time is the key to most things. You just have to give it space and time, and the hopes that perspective will bring you either back or push you away enough from it that you don't feel it as much anymore. And either way, the end result is some sense of healing, if not closure.
And if you want to talk about it or something, seek help. If you don't want to talk to somebody individually, there's a lot of resources out there. There's apps now. Yeah. they're out there. Even just ranting online under an anonymous username on Reddit would help you. There's a lot of grief counseling on there and a lot of just depression counseling out there. Just talk. It's hard. I know it's hard. Sometimes I just don't want to talk about shit. I deflect a lot of stuff, but I try. And just like, there's time for everything. Well, time's over for the show.
Yeah. Here we go. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Anything you want to say before we go?
No, just I keep on saying it. I think every year we say it, but I'm excited for what's coming for us. I mean, it's just you and me right now, but we will invite more people onto the Ouchcast to talk and share. Some episodes will be funny. Other episodes will be like this one, where we're going to be dealing about emotional stuff that matter to us. Because dude, if I have, I've been thinking a lot of what our show is, and it's hard to explain to people, but really what it is just things that we like.
Yeah.
It is a personal show, talking about things we like and our perspective on it. Sometimes we will say things that are general for people, but generally speaking, the show is a very selfish thing for you, me, and whoever's on it to talk about the things that we like.
It's our therapy.
Yeah, and hopefully in that people are entertained by our perspective and our ramblings and our opinions and our moments of humor if we have them. And so that's what I want to say. And I'm looking forward to what's happening. I miss Doyle. But I also know that he will be back in some capacity in the future.
He will be back.
If not full time, definitely there will be a presence that we will allow him here because he deserves it. We miss him, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. Monkey, anything you want to say? No. You're done. Did you bring you down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Kato. Sorry. Well, this was our unknown chat hour. That's what Ouch stands for. Reach out to us on all our socials. Go to ouchcast.com for all our socials. We have we're available on what is it? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Well, you could also listen to our podcast on Apple Music, on YouTube, which will be changing for season 5. We also are on Spotify, Podbean, and Amazon Music. We have anything here. If you have any questions or comments for the Ouchcast, you can call us or email us if you want to be on the next episode. So that is area code 925-421-6824 or area code 925-421-OUCH. And then you could also reach out to us at ouchcast@gmail.com or info@ouchcast.com. That is info@ouchcast.com. And remember, guys, life is futile. No, I'm kidding. Life is a hard thing to live through. Just survive and talk to others. We're here for each other. And remember, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Good night, everybody.